That's big. Okay, everybody grab a belt, stand in mountain pose. I want you to try playing with the block 2 different ways in mountain pose. One way you can put it between your upper thighs, right between your upper thighs, and the other way we've done it is between our shins. So I want you to try it both ways. We're going to take the belt, and you can see Julie pretty well here. Take the belt, bring it overhead. We're going to do a side stretch. Again, we're opening up the side body. So she's got the block between her thighs. Her belt is as wide as it needs to accommodate her shoulders. She's going to take a breath, and she's going to move her body toward the right so that she's stretching the left side of her body. Now, as she breathes here, her hip did not shift at all. So keep your hips in the same plane. She's scrubbing her outer lower legs in for support. Her calves move forward, her quads move back. She's breathing into this left side. What's really important here is slow it down, 5 in, 5 out. But the left side, we're going to spend a little bit more time here because we only have those 2 lobes on the left side. Breathing more front body, back body, but the exhalation gives you time to exhale for 5. Good. Now, shake it, go and shake it out. Now, we're going to take a breath here. We're going to go up and over to the other side. So if you want to change the block and put it between the calves, I want you to notice if it's more supportive for you or less supportive for you. You might not like it and then bring it back to where it was before. You might like it more. It might help you find that scrubbing action of outer lower leg in. And for you, Rochelle, that's so important because you need that awareness to lift the inner ankles up and to feel more outer glutes. Yeah, I know. Good. Nice, Grace. Now, breathing in for 5, breathing out for 5. The hips stay here. It's a lengthening from the side body, not a right hip coming out to the right. That's the hardest thing for me, is keeping the weight even in the legs. Breathing in, breathing out. Yeah, Kevin, that looks good. In for 5, out for 5. Good. And then come all the way back up. We're going to go up and over one more time to the other side. Breathing in for 5 and out for 5. It really makes a big difference. Good. And then when you're ready, come all the way back, bring your belt down. And we're going to remove the block. Take both blocks in front of you. We're going to do Pasarita Padottanasana, or wide-legged forward fold. So as we do this, I want your blocks to be so that when your hands come down, you can rest on top of your blocks. Take your legs wide, wider than you think, and turn the toes in just slightly. Scrub outer heel to inner heel, hip hinge forward. Find your block. So it's still sitting bones are in alignment with your heels. Scrubbing the outer lower leg in helps you find your outer glutes. Calves move forward, quads move back. The knees do not hit back to straighten the legs. Now, you're in Pasarita Padottanasana here. The wrists are under your shoulders. Your blocks can be at whatever height feels good. But again, 5 in, 5 breaths in, 5 breaths out. You're hugging those ribs into the body to support you. So it really is a core strengthener here. That scrubbing of the outer lower legs in, or as if you try to bring your outer heels toward each other, is so important for feeling not only the inner groin stretch, but the outer glutes activate. Good. Everybody walk your blocks over to that right leg. At a diagonal. So the only thing that happened is you got a stretch on that left side from armpit to hip, but the shoulders are still in the same plane. The ribs hugging in keeps the broadness. Breathing in and breathing out for 5. Again, we're breathing more into our side body. Watch the urge of that wrist to come at a diagonal from the shoulder, Kevin, that left hand. It needs to be in alignment with left shoulder. Walk it out more. Yeah, now push your props away so you can stretch forward. So if you need to get more of a side stretch, you can just take your hands forward. You can bring your blocks on any height. You feel the difference now that your shoulders are on the same plane?
Yeah, I'm lighter.
Yeah, and now lengthen base of the skull to the top of the skull. Use your ribs to support you, not your upper traps. So there's a lengthening here. Yeah, breathing in, breathing out for 5. Yep. Good. And then we're going to come back center and then move to the other side, but take a breath center. Don't be in a hurry to go to the other side. You want to take a breath symmetrical and then move to the opposite side. Shoulders level. Shoulders, elbows, wrists in alignment. Feel the side stretch here on the right side of the body. Scrub outer lower legs in and breathe in and out for 5. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice. Good. Come back center, take a breath, maybe stretch out into a wide-legged downward dog. Use your core. Breathe in for 5, breathe out for 5. If you don't want to go into the wide-legged downward dog or you get there, you don't like it, come back to Pasarita Pottanasana with the wrists underneath the shoulders. Back of the neck long. Good. And wherever you're at, finish up your next exhalation, walk your hands back, take a breath, bend your knees and roll up 1 vertebra at a time here. Good. Nice. Heel toe your feet together. Let's take the legs wide apart. We're going to come into triangle pose. So as we come into triangle pose here, and I'm going to move back. Good. You're going to pick up the left toes and turn them in, pick up the right toes and turn them out. So it's a heel to arch alignment. Yeah. You're going to scrub outer lower leg in. So you still get that scrubbing action. You're going to take a breath. The arms are going to go up. Good. Breathe in, breathe out. You're going to slide toward the right leg. Yeah, as you do that, the legs are working evenly. The left arm goes up, so the torso is twisting. It's a straight leg pose, Mary. Front foot presses down, not with the knee. Press, everybody bend that front knee and press it down and forward to lengthen the leg. So you notice the difference when you do it from the knee and you do it from the hamstring. There's a lengthening from the hamstring as you press the foot down and forward. Good. Back leg presses down and back. There's a scrubbing action here. Take the right hip to the right sitting bone toward the left inner heel. That changes the pose. Use the underlying support of the rib cage. As you come up, outer left hip moves into the body. As you come all the way up, pick up the right toes, turn them in. To pick up the left toes, turn them out. Take a breath here, line up your body. Keep the broadness across the back body. Now, as you move toward that left leg, you have to scrub outer lower leg in. Don't do it from the knee. So bend the knee slightly and press that front foot down and forward, doing it from the heel to sitting bone connection. Same with the back, scrub outer lower leg in. Breathe here. Good. Allow that left hip to go back toward the right inner heel. To come up, right hip moves into the body. Front foot presses down and forward. Turn both toes forward. So the big toes are in slightly, the heels are out. Take a breath, hands on your hips. Rotate the torso over the pelvis as you come into Pasarita Pottanasana. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Use your blocks if you need to. Because you ideally, the reason why I usually have my blocks is because I want to keep my sitting bones over my heels. So Mary, you're definitely going to need blocks here. Big toes are in. You can also use your chair if the floor feels far away today. But I want everybody, did everybody notice? Take a breath here. Just take a breath in Pasarita. And as you, I want you to keep the wrists underneath the shoulders. And we're going to go back to what we did in Uttanasana. We're going to bend and straighten the knees. As you bend and straighten the knees, do you notice how the pubic bone moves back? So as you bend the knees, the pubic bone moves back. As you come up, take a breath. Don't be in a hurry. Take a breath. Ribs come into the body. Pelvic floor moves into the body to help you come up. Bend again. Inhale, bend. Pubic bone moves back. As you exhale, ribs and pelvic floor move into the body. Do that again. Bend the knees. Pubic bone moves back. That's sitting in a chair. As you exhale, the ribs come into the body and the pelvic floor helps you lift on that exhale to straighten the legs. Is everybody, Mary, one block underneath your hands need to be shoulder width distance apart. Breathing in, breathing out here. So does everybody notice this quality of as you bend the knees and you deepen the hip crease, as you exhale and you feel the pelvic floor and ribs move into the body, do you feel the stretch differently on the hamstrings and different support? Sitting bones are in alignment with the heels, so make sure your weight is not in the front of your foot. It should be in the center and or heel. Good. Now walk your hands forward. So it's kind of like a wide-legged downward dog. Triceps in, biceps out. Broadness in the back body. Chest wall lift. Yeah, side body lengthening. Bend your knees as much as you need to in this pose. How does that feel? Good. Nice. Walk your hands back. Good. Take a breath. Bend your knees as much as you need to. We're going to put our hands on our hips and we're going to rotate the torso up and over the pelvis to stand up. Use the wind tunnel effect. Pelvic floor. Did you do that in exhale? Oh, good. Pelvic floor. Did you notice how the pelvic floor and the ribs knitting in helped you? So if we're just rotating up and down, I have an idea with that. Let's turn the toes out slightly, please. Good. And we're just going to bend our knees. So we're kind of like in a wide-legged squat and shift the weight over one leg. That means one inner groin is lengthening as you do that. And then come back center, both knees are bent and shift to the other side. You might need to take a wider stance. Notice if your hips shifted. Did they shift when you did that? Yeah. So you want to lengthen one side. Do you notice the difference? And then come back center with both knees bent and then go to the other side. Is everybody okay in their knees here? Okay, good. So we come back bent and then we shift. You're feeling the groin stretch on one side. And then as you shift over, you feel like more of a, I'm going to say Achilles and calf stretch on the other side. Good. Do that one more time. Good. Nice. And then bend both knees. Good. And then straighten, come up, scrubbing outer lower leg in to do that. Now heel toe the feet together. So the feet are about hip width distance apart. We're going to just come down and up, rotating the torso around the pelvis. So we're just, it's a half forward fold or Ardha Uttanasana. So take a breath, rotate the torso around the femur heads. So that means the pubic bone moves back. Some of us like to bend our knees when we do that. I like to bend my knees because I get better awareness of the hip hinge. When I come up, it's an exhalation. My pelvic floor and my ribs knitting together help me come up. So I use the wind tunnel effect. So my neck just follows the action of my spine. Don't be afraid to bend your knees and sit in the chair. That's the sitting bones over the heels. Exhale, pelvic. Yeah, that's really nice. How's that feel? Good. Much better. I thought so. I get it, Julie. Kevin, how's that feel for you? Are you getting some awareness of how your body is rotating around the pelvis?
Very interesting, that breathing out.
The other
I'm
part,
like wondering if it's really releasing my hamstrings.
I hope so.
The other part is the heel to the glutes. The weight back.
Agreed. So if you have, Julie just made it, well, Julie and Kevin both made interesting points. You might also notice these as well, is that by hip hinging and having a slight bend to the knees, keeping the sitting bones over the heels, I feel more awareness of how my hamstrings actually are helping to support me. And I get more core awareness. It's a different kind of stretch on the hamstrings, as Kevin was pointing out. But don't be afraid to bend those knees because we always did it from straight legs. And I don't think that serves us because it overstretches. You know what I mean? But the pubic bone moving back is the key to the hamstring awareness.
And
now,
not overusing.
And overusing your calves, which is Julie's thing as well. Okay, that's really good, everybody. Take a moment just to hug one knee into the chest. Yeah, and do a little, maybe you're just challenging your balance here. But I like to use this as a way to, and use the wall, Claire, to, you know, if you need
Okay.
to. Yeah, okay, I was just gonna say, sometimes I just use the wall because I get frustrated, so just don't be frustrated. Good, and then do the other side. Nice.
It's good for
And-
me.
Yeah, it's good for all of us, but you know, sometimes I like wobble for a bit and then I use the wall because I get frustrated. And then take the other knee into the chest. We're gonna externally rotate and come into tree pose. So decide if you want to use the wall here. So that means the knee comes into the chest and then we externally rotate. Okay, that's good. And you can see Julie checked her hips. Maybe your hands come in front, maybe they go up, maybe they just stay on your hips. So be where you need to be in this pose. So both hip bones should be forward, and the external rotation happens not from the left hip going back, Kevin, but from the femur bone rotating in the hip socket. So you need that left knee not to go out to the side, and you need to bring it above or below the knee. Right now it's resting on the knee. It needs to go to the diagonal, more toward the closet door that's on your left. And then take it above or below the knee. So rest it more on your calf or put it up way at the top of your thigh. Do you see how at more of a diagonal is better for your hips? There you go. Now externally rotate from the femur bone in the hip socket and then do the other side. So you have to still find that heel to sitting bones alignment, but as you breathe, the ribs come into the body. Use the pelvic floor here with the breath to help you stand. It's always interesting. Okay, then come back. Good. Everybody set their legs down. Do a little empty coat sleeves. Just want to see how everybody feels. I have one little test since we did all that forward folding with that awareness of the sitting bones over the heels. Everybody, you can either take your arms straight into zombie arms. That's a little bit harder. We're just going to do a simple squat. When I say simple squat, it's sitting in a bar stool. You can go farther, but you don't need to. You may just want to sit in a chair and get up and down a couple times. You can do that too. But as you place your hands on your hips, take a breath. As you inhale, sit back in the stool. So that means that the pubic bone just goes back. That's all that happened. As you exhale, use the ribs coming together in the pelvic floor to come up. That's still your heel to sitting bone. Heel to sitting bone relationship. Scrub outer lower leg in to help you come up. This is easier, right? So Julie's even finding that her neck's not working and it's a little bit easier. You can take your arms out, challenge yourself, see if you can do it that way. Sit in the chair. Now take a breath, use your pelvic floor and, yeah, good. Do one. But you see, that's a lot easier for you. Everybody come back to child's pose, take a breath. You can even do child's pose on your back if you would rather. Okay, that's nice, everybody. Okay, good. Okay, back bending, check. Knees to chest, check. Now, we're gonna go a little Montessori for these last couple poses. As you hug your knees into your chest or you rest in child's pose, kind of rock side to side, you know, just be where you need to be in this pose. Rest the toes though. So when your feet are really active, which is good in a lot of the poses, but sometimes it tightens the groins. But I want everybody to just notice how you feel here. Now, when we're on our backs, we can do a little groin opener, psoas opener, where we take our feet about mat width distance apart. We walk one inner knee in, maybe use a block, and you stretch the inner groin as best as you can. Keep that hip. So if we take the right inner knee beyond the left big toes, use a block to support underneath that inner knee. And make sure the left knee is facing the ceiling. So that's the inner groin stretch. If you're not doing the inner groin stretch and you just want to come into a spinal twist, you can do that. We're all going to be doing spinal twists after we do the inner groin stretch. So you just be where you need to be. And then take that right leg up. Walk the left foot out, allow the left inner knee to drop beyond the right big toe, so you get a groin stretch here. Hip, you feeling more open here, Claire?
I'm still really tight, Lori.
Okay, did we move the needle any amount? That's the question.
Yes, we moved it a little amount.
If we move the needle a little bit in the right direction, I'm gonna be happy with that. But yeah, it could be a 2 or 3 hour yoga day today. I get it.
Okay,
Come back center, hug your knees in, do a little egg beater, happy baby. Rock side to side. We're gonna come into a deeper spinal twist. Again, if this is too deep for you, the easiest version of this is to do a spinal twist with both knees bent and come over to the side. If you want to go a little deeper, cross the right knee on top of the left knee and allow both knees to go to the right. Yeah, good. And now you might need props or a block to help support you. But the crossing of the knees is the most intense version of this pose. If you need less, Claire, hug your knees into your chest, Claire, for a second.
I think it's good for me, but.
Oh, is it good? Okay, I wasn't sure how, it was hard to see how it was feeling. If it feels good,
Pain on my face.
use the block. Yeah. Breathe all that stress out of your face. Don't do the pose with your face, right? Take a breath, come back center, cross in the opposite direction. Good. Use any props you need to come here. Good. And Kevin, turn that outer ankle up toward the ceiling. Drop the pinky toes down. But you should feel it right at the hip. Yeah, so here. Breathing in, breathing out into this twist. Yeah, Mary, I like the way you're using the blocks for that twist. Remember when you're here, the knees are to the left, but draw that left shoulder away from the spine. Have that broadness here. So bend that knee and put the foot flat on the floor. The left foot goes flat on the floor, bend the left knee. And the left knee, put the foot flat on the floor. Okay. Move the heel underneath the sitting bone. Let's take our feet wide. So we're going to come into triangle pose. You can have your blocks behind you, but 9 times out of 10, I put my hand on my leg so that I'm not compressing my chest down. But we've been here before. So we're going to pick up these, I'm opposite of you, but we're going to pick up the right toes and turn them in at a slight diagonal. Left toes turn out. So that heel to arch alignment. So I want this right hip to move to the top right corner of the mat, but the chest opens from right to left. Good. So the hips are even here. So put your hands on your hips, ground your right big toe, left outer heel, and find that scrubbing action here. Now, as we come into triangle, I want you to think about this back leg, lengthening the inner groin, inner knee, and big toe so much that you feel the stretch on this right outer hip. I mean, the left outer hip. Does everybody feel that? Yeah, it's the right. Good. Take your hand up and stretch your arm toward the corner of the room. So you get more of a stretch from that back heel through the fingertips, and you feel how that waist lengthens. You're scrubbing your legs equally. Breathe in, breathe out, lengthen the inner groin, and to come up, press the front foot down and forward, the outer hip up and come all the way up. So that has more strength. Turn the left toes in, right toes out, heel to arch alignment. Find your stability. Don't let the hips be asymmetrical. Right big toe, left outer heel. Take this back hip and turn it to the front corner of the mat, but the chest opens in the opposite direction. Breathe in, breathe out, over into triangle. Now this time you're lengthening the left inner groin, inner knee, big toe, and feel that stretch on the whole left hip. Lengthening here, pull those ribs in and work the legs equally. You were here on the ground when you took the leg out to the side. So the outer glutes are working. Breathe in, breathe out. Press the front foot down and forward, lengthen the left inner thigh. Feel that stretch, and then hug the outer hip in to come all the way back up. Turn the legs forward so the toes are pointing forward. Take a breath. Now I'm going to have my blocks handy here so that I can rest my hands down on them. Take a breath here. Keep the hips over the heels. Bend the knees slightly as you hip hinge forward. Find the blocks. Now, my knees are slightly bent over my second and third toe. I'm scrubbing outer heel to inner heel. To straighten my legs, my calves are moving forward, but my quads are moving back. You get a different stretch in the hamstrings. Keep the sitting bones over the heels. Keep the hips over the heels. Walk the hands forward, lengthen the side body. Breathe in, breathe out. Bend your knees as much as you need to here to make this accessible. So you might not straighten your legs. You might play with bending and then think of the calves coming forward, quads back, and use the wind tunnel to help you straighten. So even though we're in a wide leg stance, it's still very similar to Uttanasana, where the wind tunnel pulls my ribs front body to back body, and the calves move forward, the quads move back to straighten my legs. Very different feeling. Lengthen. Inner groin, inner knee, big toes. Very nice. Okay, walk the hands back. Take your hands on your hips, bend your knees, take a breath. Feel that wind tunnel pull you up. Sitting hips are still over my heels. Very nice. Now I'm going to take the right toes, turn them in, the left toes, turn them out. I'm realigning my hips, right big toe, left outer heel, my scrubbing action. Take a breath here. Now we're going to come into warrior two. Nothing changed. The body's right in the middle, but the legs are still working equally. Can you still lengthen this inner groin, inner knee, big toe, but keep the weight from going over here? You should be center. Breathe in, breathe out. Take the hand on the block or on the thigh and come into side angle pose here. Lengthen the inner groin and feel a bigger stretch on that left outer hip. Yeah. Good. Breathe in, breathe out here. Scrubbing the feet. And now you're going to come through triangle. Press that left foot down and forward, come into triangle and stretch that arm overhead as you lengthen from the inner groin. There's your stretch on the outer hip. Take the hand up, press the front foot down and forward. Use that back hip to bring you all the way up. Very nice. Turn the left toes in, the right toes out. Realign yourself just like before we did triangle. Do that scrubbing action. As you bend your knee into warrior two, this is the inner groin lengthening. Scrubbing outer heel to inner heel. So somebody's pulling this arm back to help keep me, my torso centered, and my gaze is over the front fingertips. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Find the strength from the ground up. Come into side angle stretch. And find that inner groin lengthening to stretch that outer hip. That makes such a big difference in how this pose feels. And it really helps me find my glute as well. So there's a groin lengthening here. Take a breath, press that front foot down and forward to come into triangle. Good. The arms should be straight in triangle. Good. At least on this side. Find the inner groin lengthening, pull the ribs in, scrub the heels, front calf moves forward, quad moves back as you find the strength from the legs to come all the way up. Turn your toes center, take a breath. We're going to come one more time into Pasarita Padottanasana, scrubbing outer heel to inner heel. As my calves move forward, my quads move back, the wind tunnel hits me, my hips stay over my heels as I come down. Maybe your blocks are at a higher level, maybe your hands are on the floor, but I see that my wrists are under my shoulders and I use that wind tunnel effect to help stabilize me. Breathing in, breathing out. Take the block, one block right underneath your face, and take that left hand right underneath your face so that you can twist from left to right. Breathe in, breathe out. Calves forward, quads back, scrubbing action in the feet. Good. Nice. And now take the opposite hand down, twist in the opposite direction. Hand can stay on your waist or up toward the ceiling. See what feels best. Find that scrubbing action. Calves forward, quads back to straighten the legs. Breathe in, breathe out. And then come back center. Take a breath, bend your knees if you need to. The wind tunnel draws you all the way up as you scrub the legs. Very nice, everybody. Heel toe the feet together. Good. Now we're going to start by standing on our right leg. Now, as I come into tree pose, use the wall if you need to. Scrub outer heel to inner heel. We are going to straighten that leg as the calf comes forward, the quad moves back. That helps me with my stability. So as I bring this leg into my chest and externally rotate, that's femur bone and hip socket, not hips moving back. This rectangle of the torso faces you. And I find the stability. Use the wall if you need to. Take your arms up. You can see that it's always harder on one side for me. I can feel the ankle working harder. I got to use my outer glutes. Arms can go up if it serves you, but maybe that's not where you need to be today. Maybe you're just finding the stability. Don't claw your toes. Turn the knee to the chest. Take a moment to balance. Set it down. Now, as we transfer to the other side, calf forward, quad back, find that glute action. Make it long, pubic bone to collarbone, knee into chest. Rotate at the hip socket, rectangle the torso is forward. So your hips are level. Not one hip is back, not one hip is forward. They're on the same plane. Use the stability from the ground up. Breathe. Turn your knee forward, set it back down, shake it out, do some empty coat sleeves. Nice job, everybody. Okay, we're going to do some work with our hips. We're going to take one of our blocks. If you need more stability, use a wall. I'm going to have the wall handy just in case I need more stability because I don't know where I'm going to be today. Who knows? So I'm going to take this right foot on the block. I'm going to hold the wall and to straighten my leg. My calf moves forward, my quad moves back. And I'm just going to keep this left leg straight. So if you flex your foot like this, flex your foot, it gives your body the sense that there's ground behind that foot, even though there's not, because my right leg is higher than my left. I'm going to bend this right knee over the second and third toe, and this left foot dips down a little bit, and then to straighten, quad, calf forward, quad back, outer glute works as I come up. So I'm coming up and down, working this outer glute, flexing that left foot, breathing in, breathing out. Everybody should feel the work on that foot that's on the block